Hello, everybody, and welcome back to FantasyCast. My name's Darren, and today we have two other guests with me again. How are you all today?
Good.
Yeah, I'm
Everything
all right.
good.
How did we all spend our week off?
Uh,
Not much actually. I think like instead of watching football or the international games, I went out and did some activities there.
Interesting. Mikhail, talking about the Paralympics just before, the recording started. How did that go for
Uh,
you?
Throughout this whole week has been a nightmare for me because I just just
Personal
don't want to
reasons.
talk about it.
Personal
Personal
reasons.
reasons.
Yeah.
Reasons.
So, I got on to the football whilst you guys all switched off, Good old Bolton was on the television, Less said about that, the better. Enough of that jibber jabber. Let's jump on to the first section of the episode. Because we didn't have a game week last week, we're going to jump on straight to looking ahead to the fixtures coming up this week. So, game week 4. Again, another 10 set of fixtures. First game of the weekend. Crystal Palace going up against Spurs at Selhurst Park. And then we have a set of 3 p.m. kickoff matches, beginning with Arsenal Norwich at the Emirates, Brentford and Brighton, Manchester City coming to the King Power, Manchester United hosting Newcastle, Southampton against West Ham, Watford against Wolves, and then we have the late night kickoff on Saturday. Villa going to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea. That should be a cracker game to watch. And then we have Leeds hosting Liverpool. And then to round off this week, it's a Monday night kickoff, Everton against Burnley. Right. Adam, let's start off with you. I believe you're going with the opening fixture to talk about at Selhurst Park, a London derby, where you are at, ironically, at the moment. Tell us, why have you chosen this fixture?
You're on mute.
Edit this out.
Yeah. Like I've said before in the previous fixture, I'm confident that Spurs will keep another clean sheet against Crystal Palace. Due to Nuno's tactics and play style. I'm thinking they're gonna look to keep another clean sheet.
That makes tasty assets for Spurs. Spurs assets have been increasing in value, especially in the defense, which we've talked about quite a lot with Nuno's defensive football. We've seen Dyer going to 4.6, Tatanga going to 4.6. Sanchez hasn't increased in value. I doubt he will. But Mikhail, is it going to be one that you're going to be looking forward to? One that you should be targeting?
It's actually quite hard for me to think. I mean, because Spurs, Adam said, Spurs has been solid with their defense in their first 3 matches. I think they got 3 clean sheets, right? Yep, they got 3 clean sheets. But the only thing that's in my head right now is actually Arsenal match against Norwich, because it's a very crucial game for them. If they don't win this match, then they will be in a lot of trouble, especially with Aubameyang coming back, Ben White coming back. So if they don't win this, I think it's going to be a tough time for Arsenal.
Well, that's the other side of London. We've gone from one side of London to the other side of London. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Adam, would you rate him?
Aubameyang.
I'll say with Aubameyang coming back in the squad, I'll say they'll look to be more attacking, especially since they're going to be against Norwich. So hopes up for Arsenal fans. They might score a goal
I mean, not
with
gonna lie.
Aubameyang.
If you think about it, Arsenal has Odegaard, they have Saka, they have Pepe, they have Aubameyang. So that is actually already a deadly five up front against Norwich back four, which I don't really know most of them, but I do know Brandon Williams, who just came out on loan to Norwich. So Norwich is going to be having a lot of tough time there. But with Arsenal's sloppy defense against one of Norwich's biggest threat, Timu Pukki, I think it's going to be a challenge for Arsenal, I guess, with Ben White coming back in. I think so. That's why to me that the game Arsenal and Norwich is actually a very tough game, a very close game too. So yeah, that's why I think of it.
What hasn't your FIFA experience told you Max Aarons and Grant Hantley are key FPL assets for Norwich, the Norwich defence?
Yeah, I almost forgot about Max Aarons. But if you think about it, Max Aarons always is the type of right back who loves to run up front. He rarely runs. He rarely defend a lot. So especially when he's challenging a player like who plays, I think Saka or any of those wingers in Arsenal, I think it's going to be Max Aarons might be having a tough time. I mean, if he can control them, then I think Max Aarons can do well in the match. But yeah, that's the only thing that I can think of right now.
With Arsenal, what do you think of the new signing, Tomiyasu? Do you think he'll put out a really, really good opening debut from Bologna, I think?
That is a tough thing to think, because Tomiyasu, we don't really know we don't really know the defender he is. I mean, the last season, I did hear from an Arsenal fan that, according to their own facts, they say that Tomiyasu has a high defensive rates compared to anyone else in the Serie A. But I'm not too sure, because it's a two different league. Whenever Serie A moves to Premier League, Premier League is more aggressive than Serie A. So we don't know. At the moment, I would say it's a 50-50, because not all Serie A players can bounce back, can bounce well with the Premier League. I mean, Pogba took some time in his return. So I would say that Tomiyasu wouldn't go all out for his Premier League first season. So I think Tomiyasu would have an average season or below average season to me.
Right, let's talk about the late night match, Leeds and Liverpool. I think that this is one to target, because Liverpool have the third highest expected goals of any team this week, 6.51 for the first 3 games. Therefore, they're going to score two on average per match. They score 2.17 goals per match. Only teams that have been better are Man City and West Ham United. And Leeds' defence, likewise, hasn't been looking very, very good. 6th highest team to concede in terms of expected goal given, 5.21. Only teams that are worse are Norwich, Southampton, Burnley, Newcastle, and Arsenal, which makes Liverpool's chances of getting attacking returns very, very high. And also in the previous fixture that was played Anfield last season, yes, it doesn't have any fans. Both teams did put a goal to register for the team. What do you guys think about that fixture?
For me, I think Leeds is going to be having a very difficult time, especially against Liverpool, because Liverpool, throughout the first 3 matches, they only conceded 1 goal, which was against Chelsea, which Chelsea are European champions, and I do understand that. With Liverpool's defensive record has been very well ever since Van Dijk's return. I think Leeds United is, one of the Leeds United players, especially for Patrick Bamford. He is going to be one of the players that you should keep an eye out. So basically, keep him away from your fantasy team, because Liverpool's defense has been very, very impressive. And with Leeds United's defense, I think Liverpool has a high chance of winning. Probably, I would say 80 to 90% chance of them winning. But the reason why I say 20 or 10% chance of winning for Leeds is because they're playing at home, especially with their home fans in their second match day at home. So they might have a boost in that. But if you look at stats for players such as Mo Salah against Leeds United. He has been scoring a lot of goals, especially the ones in Anfield. He scored a hat-trick. So definitely Salah has to be kept an eye out on. So yeah.
Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with with what Mikhail said. Like I said, with what he said, with Dyke's return, Leeds are gonna have a tough time to score goals, and yeah, Liverpool's defense are looking strong right now. So probably might be an easy win for Liverpool.
And I mean, Jota, we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the episode. Is one of the really, really strong assets, as well with Mohamed Salah. We've got over a third of fantasy managers have Salah. Do you think he'll get a goal? Yes, he got the penalty. But Leeds, from time to time used to give penalties.
It's quite hard to say for Jota. I mean, because if you compare him to Firmino, when Firmino came in the front three, Liverpool had a better chemistry with those three. But Jota, he is a deadly striker. But yes, he does score, and yes, he does create some chances and penalties as well. But if you think about it, Jota, he doesn't have that much chemistry between Salah and Mane. So, but at the same time, he will have a high chance of scoring. So, yeah, I think Jota will do well against Leeds. That is, unless if he doesn't get greedy, of course. So yeah, that's what I can think of.
Adam, Salah, I think you have him.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like Jota has a better form, I'll say, or is more consistent, I'll say, compared to Salah. It was unlucky for Jota to not get the goal from the header, but from the way he plays, he's always getting that participation from Liverpool. So yes, they may not have the chemistry with Salah or Mane, but they're still building up. And with his form right now, I'll say they might try to look on Jota more and rely on him more to score goals. And maybe in this match against Leeds, maybe you could see that.
Well, Jota has the highest third highest player in Liverpool to have a expected return per 90 of 0.66, just behind Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah, who is injured. Roberto Firmino. It's really important to mention that. Defenders, really, we all have Trent, I believe.
Yeah.
Liverpool clean sheet.
Yeah, I think that will be a Liverpool clean sheet. I mean, Leeds United don't score a lot of goals. The first game they only scored 1, and then Everton they only scored 2. I think against Everton. I think they scored 2. It's with their attacking form against Liverpool, it's going to be very difficult for them to score, because if you look at the previous game against Burnley, they drew to that game. They drew to a team like Burnley. Yes, Burnley are also quite, solid based on their defense, but we expect better from Leeds. So that's why I think that Liverpool might have a high chance on getting a clean sheet. But that is only if, Leeds kept, making Joel Matip a threat, because Matip is the only weakness for Liverpool. But if they keep playing Matip in the team, I think there is a high chance for Leeds United to score, because ever since the first game till the third one, Liverpool's defense have been very solid. But based on Joel Matip, he has made some mistakes. Also Shimikas, but since he's been replaced back to Andy Robertson, I think it's very difficult for Liverpool to concede unless if Joel Matip is in the squad. So there is a high chance that Leeds United will score unless if they concentrate more on Joel Matip more than Virgil van Dijk. So yeah, that's what I definitely think that. So yeah.
Well, Joel Matip is one of the most cheapest defensive assets from Liverpool. That is a nailed-on starter 5.0 if you want to get Joel Matip. Well, let's move on to the next section. Let's talk about our Twitter question of the week. Here's the Twitter question then. Luke Jersey has said, are we sleepwalking into another round of pet roulette with Torres after starting all 3 games so far? Surely it's a matter of time before a spell on the bench with someone mad like Cancelo at false 9. I like to see Cancelo at false 9, to be honest. Playing false 9, defense. All our fantasy managers will be raking in the points. But in all seriousness, pet roulette, we all know what it is. We know how dreaded it is. Torres started all 3 games, 7.1 million, midfielder. What's more to love, or are you walking into a trap?
I'll say, yeah, you might be walking into a trap. The thing is, I'll say Ferran Torres needs a lot more games to see his potential. Yes, he did perform against Arsenal, but I just need to see more from him. That's all. So I guess I want to avoid getting Ferran Torres first, and maybe look if you want to look for Man City players, maybe try to avoid Ferran Torres first, and maybe get someone like, I don't know, because Man City players are quite expensive, right?
Grealish?
Yeah, maybe Grealish might be a good option, although he's expensive. So yeah.
I am a proud owner of Jack Grealish, as we all know. MQ, what do you think?
It's so hard to predict, and we don't know whether Ferran Torres will be in the starting lineup because City has a lot of deadly strikers. From what I can think of, Grealish sometimes play on the wing. Ferran Torres sometimes play as well with Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus. Sometimes he play on the wing as well. But if you're thinking about having strikers or midfielders who play as strikers in Man City, I think those are the players you should be avoiding, because Pep Guardiola, like I said in the questions said there, Pep Guardiola plays Pep roulette all the time, so he kept switching the front 3. But from my own opinion, I think with the situation of Ferran Torres is going at the moment, I think I would say it's average, even though he's scored a lot of goals in the first 3 games. But in order to get a City player in a safe way, I guess I should go for Gundogan, Joao Cancelo, and Ruben Dias, because those 3 players are definitely one of the most crucial players in Man City. I mean, if you look at the whole statistics last season, Gundogan was the top scorer. He was the top scorer out of Aguero, out of Bernardo Silva. I guess Sterling was also one of them, so we could compare them to that. But because they bought Grealish, Sterling might not have a lot of gameplay. So, yeah, Gundogan, Ruben Dias, and Joao Cancelo. So, Ferland Mendy and Zinchenko's form has been absolutely horrible. I guess I should say that. Zinchenko was pretty all right, but because, Arsenal, they were playing against 10-man Arsenal, maybe that's the reason why many people see Zinchenko as an average left back. But sometimes when you're comparing it against big clubs or in every game, I would say Joao Cancelo is definitely the right option for you, and Ruben Dias and Gundogan. So yeah.
And what do you think of Cancelo as false 9?
It's ridiculous. Pep Guardiola is a very smart man. I mean, he knows what he's doing. But against Leicester, I don't think they would put Cancelo as a false 9. But yeah, that's all I can think of. So it's impossible to see Joao as a false 9. Unless
Adam,
if it's a 10 man.
do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. There's no way, and it's against Leicester too. So I'll say Pep won't avoid putting Cancelo at a false nine.
Not going into any of our traps of FPL this season so far. So basically, it's unless if you're buying a goalkeeper or Ruben Dias or I can't remember the other players, stay away from Manchester City players, please. Or it's not going to happen for me. Jack Grealish, proud owner. Let's move on then to the next section of the podcast. Let's talk about the players that we are looking out for this week. So our gets, remove, and our evade players this week. I'm going to start off with our gets. As always, we think we should all get Diogo Jota. You know, an injured Firmino. He will solidify his position in the Liverpool team, especially with the run of fixtures that Liverpool are facing coming up. So the next three will be Crystal Palace, Leeds, and Brentford. Firmino is rumoured to be out until at least, he was only going to be back to at least the Crystal Palace game, which is in 2 to 3 weeks' time. So we've got some time here with Diogo Jota, and his expected returns per 90 is third highest in the league, with only below Firmino, who hasn't played that much minutes compared to the minutes that Liverpool have already played, and Mohamed Salah, the standout. What do you think about Diogo Jota?
Well, with his form right now, I'll say he's a good player to get into your fantasy. You can expect to get some returns. I'll say on average he might get like in a game maybe an assist or a goal at least. So might be a good player to get for this game week 4.
His price has increased. His price has increased.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
7.6.
I mean, it does. Yeah, that is true. It increased because Firmino is injured, and then throughout the last 3 games, he has scored a lot of goals and created a lot of chance. But yeah, Jota will definitely be one of the picks that you have to go for. So yeah.
Would you be buying them into your team? Would you be one to consider?
At the moment, I've already used my transfers, so no, I'm not gonna buy Jota right now.
Well, if you're not going to buy him, there's 16 other people. Well, there's 16% of the whole game that's already got Diogo Jota into the squad, and possibly more coming into this team. I believe he's probably one of the highest transferred into the team as well. Although I can't see his value. Yes, there you go. 267,000 people have already transferred in Diogo Jota as of this point. Adam, who are you going to be buying into your team this week?
I mean, it's gotta be Ronaldo, right? But no, I'll say I'll want to get Varane first. Looking at how he played against Wolves, he did a really great job at the defense line for United. Helped United to get that clean sheet, and he did get that three bonus point from that game. So I'm thinking we can see more from him. Just because how he played when he was at his time at Real Madrid, and I think he can still carry on when he's at Man United. So I'll say I'm getting Varane in my team.
MQ, what do you think about Varane?
Definitely agree. He will definitely get the first team. He will definitely burst into the first team more than going into the bench. But yeah, definitely agree. Lindelof, there's no way he would be in a United squad by looking at most of United fans. So yeah, definitely agree.
I would avoid him. His numbers aren't particularly that good. His expected returns is 0.06. Not exactly good FPL asset in terms of the position he plays, because we all tend to like wing backs and crap because they get you points up the pitch as well. But will people? Do you think people will reckon to do the Shaw to Varane move, because Shaw's been rather disappointing, I must say, at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, maybe it might be the same case like last season, like the first 6-7 weeks, I guess. Maybe he won't be as good, or like won't be performing as much. But maybe later on to the season, maybe you can expect him to get some assists, help get those clean sheets, and also get maybe a few goals as well. So maybe I'll say just give him time for now, and he'll bounce back.
It is important to know that Manchester United fixtures are getting worse. They have in the next 4 game weeks, they have 2 red fixtures according to the FDR, and we don't have a thief coming on this podcast, giving all of the Manchester United praise in terms of best teams to target moving forward, but so we don't have that to worry about. MQ, who are you gonna get in? Who's on your
I just don't know. I think the only thing I can think of is Jota. Yeah, Firmino did get injured in the Chelsea game, so Jota definitely.
Okay, that's all good then. We all love Jota. I think we all need to buy him an FPL bank it very, very soon. Let's move on to the players that we're moving to try and remove from our team. So who's on your remove list for all of us? First of all, I'm going to talk about Danny Ings, owned by quite a lot of the game, to be honest, around 30-something percent. Can't remember the number, 32.2. Has got an attacking return in the first 3 games, albeit very, very important to note that those were against Watford, Newcastle, and Brentford. He's got quite poor fixtures coming up. They've got Chelsea, Everton, Manchester United, and Tottenham coming up in the next 4 fixtures. And also he doesn't have penalties, because as long as Anwar El Ghazi is on the pitch, he's not going to get those penalties as well. Therefore, some of the better assets might get them, and also he's an easy swap to there's a lot of players that have the potential to get more points, such as Ralph Jimenez, Patrick Bamford for one. I know we all slated him earlier, but coming up, fixtures are looking good for Leeds United. Mikel Antonio, for if you somehow don't have him, or you can go and downgrade to a cheaper striker, but potentially Adam Armstrong, Ivan Toney. What do you guys think about Danny Ings?
I would say try to avoid him, because every time last season when he was in Southampton, he rarely scores against big 6 clubs. I think he did score against Liverpool, but if you compare it to like him against all the other 6, he rarely scored a lot of them. He rarely scored against them. So avoid Danny Ings is definitely one of them for me.
Adam, what do you think?
Well, with the loss of Jack Grealish in their team, and having Danny Ings to their squad, I'd say they might try to look for Danny Ings more. So I don't know, because I'll say I don't want to avoid Danny Ings, because Aston Villa might look to rely Danny Ings to get some goals for their team. So yeah, maybe I'll say keep that name for now.
It is important to note that he might be getting a reduction in service, with the absence of Emiliano Buendia against Chelsea this game, in the next fixture, due to quarantine restrictions from the first round of international fixtures as well. And also, Bertrand Traore isn't going to be in the squad. Leon Bailey's got injured as well. So, Danny Ings, owners prepare for a tough time against Chelsea coming up this week. Adam, who do you have on your remove list?
I'll say maybe get Ben Rama out because he didn't get much from the last game, so it was quite disappointing to see. So yeah, maybe get him out.
Yeah, he's West Ham do have a good fixture coming up. They're against Southampton. They're away at Southampton this week. MQ, what do you think about Ben Rama? I believe you're an owner as well, the owner of Ben Rama.
He is a baller. I mean, he has been impressive for West Ham. So, especially against Southampton, I think he will perform. I wouldn't say replace him. No, I would keep him because he is one of the huge threat for West Ham United. If there's no Mikel Antonio. If you think of it, the only player that you see besides Ben Rama and Antonio is only Souček, which is a very good player. Who is Pablo Fornals? I don't see him as much as I expected. And I think Yarmolenko. Those are the only players that I would say average. But if you think about Antonio and Ben Rama, I think they have been a huge threat for West Ham. Both of them has been carrying West Ham. So yeah, I would disagree to that right now.
And Yarmolenko, West Ham is going to be facing a lot more fixtures as they've got Europa League fixtures that they have to juggle on with the Premier League fixtures. And we all know that West Ham squad isn't particularly, their depth isn't particularly very, very strong. Yes, they've brought in some good signings as well. They've got Vlasic and some Czech guy, can't remember his name. So Mark mentioned it last week. I couldn't really remember what it is. So, West Ham.
I mean, don't forget, they just bought Zuma. So Zuma, keep an eye on him too. Keep an eye on him too.
Yeah, Zuma. West Ham do have good fixtures coming up. Aside from Manchester United, the next coming fixtures are Southampton, like we mentioned, Leeds, Brentford, and Everton coming up. Away at Everton. MQ, let's talk to you. What have you got to sell this week? What sell? Cancelo?
No, Cancelo I would keep because he might play a left back, especially against Leicester. You won't be putting Benjamin Mendy and Zinchenko in the squad. I mean, I would definitely laugh into that. But for those, I think some of the Fantasy Premier League people or people who's playing, I think definitely whoever still has Kostas Tsimikas, remove him right now. Ever since the previous game, remove him right now. Because with Andy Robertson's return, I think he is definitely not going to get some chances in the Premier League matches again. So Tsimikas, just sell him.
Done it already. Already dropped price to 4.1. Adam, what do you think about Tsimikas?
Yeah, with Andy Robertson coming off injury, I'll say get him out of your fantasy because there's a low chance, sorry, to see him playing in the starting 11 for Liverpool, unless Andrew Robertson gets injured again. Then yeah, maybe then you can get Tsimikas back into your fantasy team.
Meanwhile, let's hope for those price falls to keep on coming for Simicast. In case of Andy Robertson gets injured, touch wood, obviously, hopefully that doesn't happen very, very soon. Avoid players. This might be quite controversial to both of you. You might not, treat this as music to your ears, but I put Mason Greenwood on there. I just think that his numbers are not bad. He's got expected goals of 0.13 and an expected returns per 90 minutes, 0.49. Well, he's got half chance of getting a return every other game week, which is every 2 game week, one return.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just one problem with that. Is he going to play? Was Ronaldo coming in? Ronaldo coming in? Is he gonna play? Is he gonna keep his starting lineup ahead of Sancho, who they've allegedly paid for over 100 million or something like that, or something close to that number? Is he gonna play? And Manchester United, we've already mentioned about them having weak fixtures coming up. I just don't think it's a really, really good buy. Michael,
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you because United did have a lot of huge strikers. Cavani, Ronaldo. Sancho, I would say he is injured. He came back from injury from England. So I don't know if he's ever going to get a chance in the first team. I think Sancho is going to have an injury season with what's happening to him right now. I think he's going to have an injury season. It's quite a sad thing to say because he hasn't been playing a lot for Manchester United. Of course, it's his first season back in the Premier League, so give him some time. Rashford is out injured. If you think about it, so there is a 50-50 chance that Mason Greenwood will get into the starting lineup, but I would avoid that. I would go more in Bruno Fernandes more than Mason Greenwood himself because with Cavani, with Ronaldo, with other strikers, with other wingers, I would definitely avoid him. Rashford came back from an injury, but he's still healing. So Greenwood is definitely one of them who you should avoid. But if you look at it, Sancho is injured. Ronaldo might not play. Cavani is definitely playing. So Sancho is injured. So Mason Greenwood might play on the right wing. So not too sure. So all I can say is that, avoid Greenwood because anything can happen. Any of these injuries, like Sancho, he might turn up into the starting lineup. So avoid Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, do you agree?
Yeah. I want to say Man United might have that problem with Man City as well. Like because looking at Man United's squad depth is quite really good. So I guess you can see some rotation happening as well. Sadly, Greenwood might be one of those players because of Ronaldo coming into the squad. So yeah, there's a high chance that Ronaldo will be in the starting 11, and Mason Greenwood could be missing out.
It is a lot of FPL messengers have already got Mason Greenwood for this week, around for nearly 400,000, sixth highest player to be transferred into the FPL squads as of this moment for Mason Greenwood. Adam, avoid?
Yeah.
Evading? Keep away?
I'll say Ferran Torres. Like I said, just need more games from him. Just one good game is not enough. Like for me to get someone in my fantasy team, I need to see their consistency and their form. And so far, I just need to see Ferran Torres for consistency for now, and then I'll reconsider getting in my team.
You never know. He could turn into one of those Ilkay Gundogan, and start bagging in goals. We were slagging him off last season, Ilkay Gundogan.
It could be.
You never know. Ferran Torres, we've already mentioned him. Joao Cancelo might be taking his spot. Anytime soon. MQ.
Listen.
MQ.
It might be Edison who might play in the striker. but anyways, definitely. Like we said just now, Ferran Torres to avoid. He would definitely be avoided.
And MQ, what do you last player avoid list?
That is where the things have gone crazy for me. Wait, I think I gotta remember who are they challenging. Definitely one of the Norwich strikers, that is for sure. Patrick Bamford is one of them to avoid at the moment. With the teams that they are challenging, which is against Liverpool, I would say Patrick Bamford.
I wouldn't avoid Patrick Bamford if I was honest. Adam, Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, I would agree. Because you have a tough fixture.
He has a tough start. He does have a tough start. I mean, like if you look at his start of the season, many people don't know who he really is in the Premier League. When he introduces himself, many people don't know that he's a left-footed player, but now many people see him as a left-footed player now, and also his form in international. He didn't score one, so that's why I would avoid Patrick Bamford right now. So yeah.
Patrick Bamford has got really, really good fixtures coming up. Well, after Liverpool, they've got Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, and then Norwich until game week 10. Massive fixture swing for Leeds. Leeds have got a really, really tough start from the season. 2 points for the first 3 games so far. Patrick Bamford, he might become an option. Let's not rule that one out. Let's move on then.
I mean, just for this game. I mean, just for Liverpool, and after that, you can pick him back. So that's what I meant.
Right, let's move on then. Captaincy picks for game week 4 this week. Right, captaincy picks for game week 4 this week coming up. Another tasty set of fixtures to look at, and then more standouts, let's say. We all went for Mikel Antonio last week, and that all paid dividends for our teams. This week, we have Salah, who's against Leeds, Fernandes against Newcastle, Kane away to Crystal Palace, a tasty fixture, and then, some other injured players, Son, Lukaku, Ronaldo, they're all doubt at the moment, whether that's quarantine, injury issues, the lot. And, any outside punch, Kai Havertz, Mikel Antonio, we might all pick him again, you never know. You guys will hate this, Ferran Torres, Diogo Jota, maybe. An Arsenal player, MQ, you sound like you love Arsenal so much. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the late night kickoff, Monday night kickoff against Burnley, and also Wolves players against Watford as well. Those are very, very interesting prospects to look out for. What do you guys think? Are we going for Mohamed Salah this week?
I would go for Antonio more than Salah. I would say that. Salah is playing against Leeds with their fans back, so it's so hard to see Salah, scoring more than 2 goals. But I do expect him to score 1 goal. So Mikel Antonio for sure.
Mikel Antonio, he's suddenly popped out of anywhere. Any other options, taste to you a lot?
If it wasn't for Antonio Salah, but I would definitely. Bruno is also one of them because they're playing at home. So Bruno is in the list.
I I mean, okay, like he has been missed out like for 2 games in a row, right? But I have a strong feeling that he might bounce back. Um, based on last season's performance against Newcastle, he did get a lot of points, right? So for this game, I'm gonna have to. I might put Bruno as my captain. Besides that, I might put Antonio as well for my captaincy list.
So we all split. I'm going for Salah. One's going for Antonio. And one's going for Bruno Fernandes. You know, that's always
Yeah.
up for debate. You know, well, you know, three emerging different paths, but obviously there can only be. Oh well, we can match scores. There can only be one highest scorer. I believe we're the top three. We're the top three in this whole league. I think at the moment. Or are we missing someone out at the moment? I think we're the top three, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless of that, in the league so far, if you want to go and compete against us, it's 55 AQS0. There'll be a banner down there in the top below, in the bottom of the video below, and then also link in the description to be joining that league in order to compete against us. You know, it's very, very fun competing against you guys. I'm currently fifth, I think. I'm fifth. You know, that's always good to read as well. Macau's third. We're not the top three. We're second, third, and fourth. I can confirm that right now. If you have enjoyed this podcast, by the way, do give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't down below. Follow our social media. I have a Twitter account. I have an Instagram account, so you can go and follow that as well. I do post my team there recently, and there will also be an Instagram live deadline stream this week, as per usual. You know, we miss those, don't we? Apart from that, any last words?
No.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, FPL manager, and we'll see you next week again for another edition of the FantasyCast podcast, where we review Game Week 4 and we actually look back at how this stems out.